our existence, and I can't even conceive of beyond our existence, all those times are one. And it makes perfect sense in a multidimensional universe for all this to be happening at the same time.
Yeah, but on a spirit level, terror is not good. So when you inflict,
On a spirit level, terror is not good.
I mean, if you inflict terror on people in the here and now, it's not going to be good later before.
And so if you inflict terror on people here and now, it's not going to be good later. And I don't, or before, and I don't have an answer to that because I'm not sitting in a space where I could see that. It makes sense to us now you're saying this. I completely agree with you. I don't have an argument to refute you. The only thing that I can say is, were you to see this from a different perspective, as I cannot, you might have a greater meaning to it that I cannot provide.
What I don't really understand is, all right, when that craft came from the future, the timeline was affected at that moment when it came here. Why would the timeline be affected again if it wasn't like that?
Oh, okay, that maybe I can help you with. If that craft intersected with our timeline in take rise of 1947, okay? And I can give you some examples. So we were the beneficiaries from that crash of a certain level of technology that spawned what Phil Corso said, what the old man said, was the dawn of a new age. Okay? The Soviets, who went bonkers, and I wish we had the time we'd play Ron's tape, which is phenomenal. The Soviets did not have the benefits of this. And I'm telling you, there were people at the Soviet Union in the 1970s who said, you know what? The LAPD could have kicked these guys' asses. In other words, they were using radio tubes. They had Edison tubes. They didn't have this technology. Let's say that there was no intersection between that timeline and ours. We never had the integrated circuit. We never had the transistor. We never had the transistor or any of the technology. Might not the world have been shaped differently? Might we all, as Khrushchev said, been living under communism? Might we not be living under now? But what I'm saying is that's what he meant.
But what I'm asking is, all right, so I understand about that ship coming here, it changed the timeline from that period forward. But why does it have to go back? What will happen? Why will something happen again?
The theory, as I understand it, is that it's just like when you're coming down 95 and you hit 495 and you go around something, and then ultimately 495 merges with 95. Okay, or 295 merges back with 95. Let's say the 295 is the altered timeline, 95 is the timeline. Somehow these things are going to merge. If everything is not completely right, if 295 doesn't come into 95 at exactly the right spot, there's going to be a big bump. Right? There's an earthquake. 495 is down, 405 is damaged. The freeway is damaged. It doesn't come back to the 5 the right way. You go off the freeway. That's kind of in the most mechanical terms how I conceive it. If that ship, if everything that was the matter, the mass from that future timeline does not go back at that intersection, perhaps there will be no intersection.
So the matter has to go back to its
Yes, that's what I think is going on. Stephen? Steve's making an executive decision. Everybody shut up. An executive decision. Here's the executive decision Steve didn't make, okay? It's 2002. Steve Bassett's running for Congress, right? Now, he's running for Congress out of this district, which is Montgomery Township, Montgomery County, whatever it is. At the same time Steve is running for Congress, the Beltway shooters are down here creating havoc. And so the executive decision should have been that the book I'm going to write is about what it's like to run for Congress on a UFO platform while the Beltway shooters are taking out people on either side of me. I mean, talk about bizarro world. That's bizarro world. Someday you should get Steve to tell that story. Ron, do we have the tape? They're working on it. More questions.
We need to make a quick announcement. We forgot to get the tickets for the workshop before you came in. We need them for our bookkeeping. So before you leave the room, can you please see us at the doors?
Yeah, 100 people left already. I want that. Okay. Can the remote viewers see outside of our system? And the answer is yes, if you believe there are limits to the system. Yes. No, because they don't manifest themselves. My wife has solved the paradox. According to the Corso theory, in 2032, we don't send it back to crash it, it won't have happened. That's why it goes back in time. It's the Star Trek when Captain Kirk puts that guy, remember it's the Star Trek, I write for Star Trek. Remember it's the Star Trek, it's the original series, and then I have to also subscribe to the magazine where my wife has all those subscription forms. Remember where Captain Kirk puts the guy back into his plane at exactly the right moment before he saw the Enterprise? That's the theory. Yes. Okay, you know what? You're right, and you're from Long Island, so I know the accent. We have to get this out. She's got to get it out. In 1989, the speaker was with the Lakotas. And she was given a message that's, because they can't hear you, that's the same thing that I'm saying, which is?
We can't hear her. White man is working on one timeline. You must bridge over and understand the integration. And when you're able to do it, and I can't believe I'm saying this.
Go ahead, say it.
They brought me back.
You.
They brought me back, and I witnessed it. And I'm being very honest. And if somebody who worked with me, I know what I saw, I know what I experienced, and I know that I came back. They showed me a place, and they gave us the warning, the same exact thing. The Native Americans knew this. They always knew it. They had the technology, they had the thing, and we caused genocide on them, and they want to come back, and they're asking us for the awakening. We have it. We have it right now. Exactly what you're saying, exactly what they said. They actually showed it to me. Whitney Strieber also talked about the same thing. I said, that's it.
Can you hear this? I mean, I don't know if you can you all hear that? So if and you want to work with someone who can help you go back to that moment?
I went back.
You went back.
Okay, and they gave information exactly the same thing they did. Yes, you can use the spacecraft, but the Native Americans knew they did remote viewing. They knew exactly how to cross, like you're talking about the liberals. They showed it to us, they experienced it. They said, in the future, you will come back to us.
You know that what you're saying about the Native Americans having that, let's call it technology for want of a better term. I mean, it's technology is loosely speaking, right? George Norrie and I are writing a book for Tor Forge called The Worker in the Light, specifically about shamanism and the relationship of shamanism and the ability of ancient cultures, non-Western, non-linear cultures, to traverse different dimensions where there is no concept of linear time and physical space. And so we're writing this book, so I'd love to talk to you later.